Welcome to the River City Railway, guys. We got Flipturn in the house. First, reactions. I think we discussed as you guys showed up, most, if not all of us, had no idea that this place existed.
No.
And now we're putting on a show here. So what do you think so far?
Stoked on it, actually, after getting to walk around the area. I think this is going to be a pretty cool, unique experience for coming to a show in Jax.
Yeah, I love how the alleyway of it, it's like very, like the stage is the centerpiece, and that's the only way you're going to be able to look. And then the sidecars all around it too. It's like very, very different atmosphere from like any other, most outdoor venues. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see, the fans' reactions as they come through the gates, and just people coming down to this part of town in general. Like, I don't know about you guys, but come down here for Jags games or Daly's Place shows, and have you noticed this before? Have you walked by it? Has it been like, oh, I wonder what's in there?
I've driven past a couple of times, but that was after like I was aware that this place even existed. So like I guess I had the benefit of knowing of its existence, but no, like I've never even realized that this was a spot, Super cool.
Well, you guys are going to kick it off for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I'm very much stoked on that. So, well, why don't we start here? So something I always like to ask is in any interview discussion that we're having is like, we're all passionate about Jacksonville to some level or another. It's a cool place. I was raised here. I think most of you guys, if not all of you, were in some form, grew up here. But like, what makes Jacksonville special to you?
The hometown pride, bro. Like, it's Duval till we die, Like,
it's serious.
Well, yeah, I can't think of another county in the U.S. that like chance their own name, county name. Like, I don't know.
I don't think I ever thought about that.
No, yeah, like,
no, they don't.
Really
they definitely don't. Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know what that says about us, but I definitely, that pride and that camaraderie is so awesome.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like a hidden gem, Like not too many people think about Jacksonville when they think about like big cities, and I feel like it's the perfect blend of like there's not too much going on here, but there's like the perfect amount, Like there's still those really cool circles, those cool communities, and you can kind of get whatever you want out of it,
Keeps it. It always has that local feel. Like whenever we go to other cities, especially, like you can feel like you're not really in touch with like people that actually live there, or like there's many cities where people be like, I'm not from here, like. But Jacksonville, it's like, no, I grew up here. My family grew up here. My family's family grew up here. It's like, for me, I moved up here, and like seeing that, it's a really cool, just a cool city, especially like I came from Orlando. It's a lot of like tourism. So
a little different than that.
Yeah, a little bit different when you get like Disney up in there. But yeah, it's a cool city. I like it a lot.
Do you guys, like, when you're out on the road, like what are people's like initial reaction typically when you say we're from Jacksonville? Like what,
Jacksonville, Florida?
Yeah, like what do people think of that? Like, Maddie, like,
yeah, they're like, oh.
Yeah, oh, Florida.
Do they know where it is?
Oh.
Like,
no, they never know where it is.
Yeah.
Or like,
actually,
I guess Jaguars, like they'll be, we'll be like, go Jags. We do get, I will say, when we're out there, like that isn't, and this goes off of just saying that the pride of Jacksonville. When we are up, we're like, hey, we're Flipturn, we're from Jacksonville. I swear to God, we always get a Duval.
At least
every
one.
time.
At least
Every
one.
time.
At least one, and
Yeah.
almost every show. And it's
No remorse.
Yeah.
They
No
felt it.
remorse.
It's like they're the only one there, and they
We'll
will
be in like
scream it.
New York City, and people are like, what?
Yeah, like what did they just
What are
say?
you talking about?
Yeah, like, exactly. Are they booing you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna
sounds
say,
like it.
most of our festivals, we have to warn people that aren't from here when they go on stage. Like we've made a sign now for our festivals that say they're not saying boo, they're saying Duval, because we've had so many people look at us like, oh, do we need to get off stage? We're like, no, it's a positive thing. I promise.
They love you.
They love you. It means they love
I
you.
saw Declan McKenna do a show at 1904 Music Hall, and like 2017, and that same sort of thing happened. Everyone was like, Duval, and he got so worried and like pulled out his ears and was like, what did I do? I'm so sorry. And then somebody, like literally somebody front row, like was like, come here, and like explained it to him. He's like, oh, that's really weird, but okay. You know?
I just don't understand unless you're from here.
Yeah, I know, you just don't get it.
You got a trial by fire for anyone that's not from here, literally.
So you guys have your spring tour that's kicking off in just a couple of weeks. You know, what does this tour signify for you guys? Like, obviously, I think it's amazing. You guys have sold out almost every show so far, and we haven't even kicked it off yet.
Good amount for sure.
But is there what is the one thing over the whole tour that you're looking forward to most? Is it new music you're sharing? Is it going back to a certain city? Like, what do you guys have on the docket?
There's so many things.
Yeah,
There's a lot, yeah.
I think it is going to be like a really cool transition period from the tail end of this album we just put out 2 years ago, Shadow Glow. So it's it's called the Something More Tour. So it's still promoting that album, but it's kind of like a farewell to that album as we're slowly moving into this next phase, because we're doing a lot of writing right now, getting very close to recording. So this tour is also going to be a good, I'd say, like a test of a lot of new music and new material, new ideas, just a new version of us, I guess. So yeah,
A lot of bucket list venues that we're playing. That like Brooklyn Steel, I know is like one of Devin's favorites.
I love that room.
House of Blues,
Boston.
Chicago, and Boston, and
9:30 Club.
9:30
Two
Club.
nights.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I've watched
mean-
so many live videos from my favorite bands, like in that room.
It like gives me goosebumps even to hear you guys talk about it, because it's so cool.
that
Like,
was
it's
something.
so, like, I
Those
mean,
were venues when we first started the band. We'd see our like idols, playing on social media and be like, "Dang, that's so cool!" Like imagine, imagine. Not even like at that point, you always want to be, shoot for the stars. But like at that point, we're just like, yeah, sure, that'll never happen.
Yeah, like it's a dream. It's not.
Yeah.
But you guys have made it. It's become a reality, which is
Cool
so
to see
sick.
that.
Of that, do you, like each person's favorite venue or venue that you're looking forward to most on this tour?
Ooh,
I don't want to partial in the city, but
I think. I mean, I did say 9:30 Club,
Yeah.
but they do give you cupcakes, and
best
is that a
Yeah.
kicker? That's what
Yeah,
that's what
it-
takes the cake.
yeah, literally, they're like dark chocolate, decadent cupcakes. I'm so excited, and hopefully have them both nights, double cupcakes.
If they watch this, make sure both
We
nights.
want
bring
them.
the cupcakes.
Please.
Um,
Colorado.
Colorado,
All the Colorado
yeah.
shows are going to be awesome.
Yeah.
The Gothic, Ogden, and then we're doing Boulder, we're doing Fox Theater. It's going to be sick.
I mean, those are all iconic venues within themselves. And what week of the tour are you in Colorado too? Because it's probably getting
Pretty early. It's like
on,
the
right?
first or second week.
It'll be snowy.
Yeah, so like 'cause
yeah.
some of the guys are just out there snowboarding this past weekend. and-
True,
I
yeah.
saw
Trash Panda's
Panda
up
was-
there.
They were
Yeah.
out on the slopes.
I think Max is literally just put up a story he was like, touring's not so bad. And it's like
Yeah.
him on like a.
I was so
And he had
jealous.
just come from Australia. It was
Yeah,
like, they're going
yeah.
from the beaches in Australia, going back up to the mountains, and
Yeah.
well, yeah, Colorado is. I feel like always just such a. I mean,
It's
do you see in
awesome.
Colorado too that there's like a good connection between? I feel like there's just a lot of people from North Florida that have transplanted to Colorado.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh,
do
yeah.
you see that at some of like the Colorado venues when you're playing?
Maybe
Definitely,
that's
I
what's going
think-
on there, because it almost, you were probably just about to say it, it almost feels like a second hometown.
Yeah.
Any city in Colorado, they go so hard there. And
Mhm.
it's like, oh, like we have this many people here that are this into this. Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I think it's a combination of that and then just a city where people love music. Like
They
when we
love live music.
when we first started touring, that was, or not like first started touring, but like when we first ever played in Colorado, and went on our first like national headline tour, a few years ago, that was the first city that we sold, I think, like a
was 5.
similar amount of tickets that we
It
would have
was sold out. I think our
Yeah.
first was it our first sold out show
Yeah.
not in Florida?
yeah,
think
or
so.
at
Our
least
biggest
like
one,
that,
at
yeah,
least.
the biggest one for sure. And we were like,
Yeah.
what are all these people doing here? Like,
Yeah.
how, like what's going? Like, where are you?
Are we
going?
getting, like,
yeah, no,
honked?
genuinely, like it was such a genuine like, what?
Yeah, that was wild.
So, that was yeah.
To go back, not to cut you off of your favorite venue for this tour or just in general.
Oh, for this tour, I'm excited. We've played it before, but Ting Pavilion in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Oh, sick.
It's a really cool venue. We did it. We opened up for Mountjoy and RKS, right? And then
Now you
going
get to
back and
headline.
headlining it's really cool. Plus, there's a banh mi place that's there. It's just some of the best banh mi's I've ever had in my
Shout out to
like,
the banh mi.
I don't even know what it's called.
Vegetarian too.
Yeah, I'm not a
It's,
vegetarian, but it's
I
amazing.
know, y'all loved
so
it.
good.
I don't remember lemongrass something. I think,
Yeah,
but it was so cute. It was just like a little pickup window,
What is
and
it?
they were
Next
so
to
nice.
it's next to that one.
there's
venue
another
that's
venue called
Next to the Jefferson
in Charlottesville.
Theater.
It's
Right next to it.
yeah.
Charlottesville's like a really cool town. I've only
Yeah.
been there once, but
Yeah,
I like
Dave
it a lot.
Matthews came out
Yeah,
from
like
there.
Red
and-
Lights there, right?
yeah,
Like, and-
yeah.
I mean, the company and the agency that we work with that does all of our digital advertising for these shows and everything else, they're based in Charlottesville as well.
Yeah,
And,
it's
like,
a
that's the
cool
one time
place.
we went up there and visited their office. Like, this is really cool
Yeah,
downtown.
it's very quaint. It's like very you can walk pretty much
Mhm.
anywhere. That is like the centerpiece of that area. Is that amphitheater or whatever you call it? Is it an amphitheater?
It's like
Pavilion?
like a
Yeah. Oh,
amphitheater,
Ting
right?
Pavilion. Yeah.
It's like a cover. Is it covered?
Yeah, it's
Right?
like, and it's
Pavilion
really
in-
cool. The
indicates that it's
sound is
covered, I hope.
Yeah.
It looks like the covering too kind of looks like
piano.
a piano. So
Oh,
it's
that's
just really
cool.
cool. It's a cool space, and
I'm gonna have
everyone's
to look
nice.
that up.
It's
Yeah.
sick.
I wish we had access to this TV and we could just be like,
Yeah. Pull it up.
Exhibit A.
All right, next up on the list.
House of Blues Boston for sure,
Sick.
because that's where I did grow up in Boston or southeast Boston. And that was one of the first cities to sell out on when we put the tour on sale. So that's where I'll get to see a lot of my family, and
That's
like
awesome.
my dad still lives up there, my grandparents still live there, a lot of my cousins are still up there. So that one, and it's like right next to Fenway too. It's like attached
Oh,
to Fenway.
sick.
Yeah. So that one I think I'm looking forward to for sure.
Do you feel that almost is like second home for you in a way, like
Yeah.
because of that, like the family? And how long did you live in Boston?
15 years.
Okay, so like a
So when we
chunk
go
of-
up there, a lot
chunk
of-
of your life, yeah.
That's like the only place where I take a majority of the guest list tickets, or is Boston. But yeah, it's like it's pretty a second home. So
Oh, yeah.
For us too at this point.
on it,
Honestly.
yeah, that's true. They,
Yeah.
you know,
Welcomed them into your
yeah,
your home
everybody,
up there.
everybody knows everybody up
His
there.
dad takes care of us every time. We're
Yeah,
up there,
That's
man.
awesome.
Ed
So
takes care of
sweet.
everyone.
Yeah, I feel like everybody kind of stole all of my answers.
That's
There's
okay.
a lot of really cool venues on this run, but I will say like the Texas states, Emos in Austin.
I've
is-
heard great
dude,
things about that.
That's a really cool room. Austin's a cool city, but like that room is sick. It sounds good, feels good, and it's like right next to like the river, like
Yeah.
downtown. So that's gonna be a great show as
You
well.
guys are hitting a lot of like awesome states. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, there's 50 awesome states, but maybe not 50, but there's a lot of awesome
Majority
states.
is cool.
And it's cool that you guys. How many states are you covering on this tour? Do you know off the top of your head?
But we are hitting
Math is
some though, like,
hard.
we're hitting some that like we don't usually hit. We're hitting like Nebraska and Iowa. I mean, we've hit Iowa, Arkansas. Yeah. There's
Okay, so Fayetteville, Arkansas, I know is the first stop on your
yeah,
tour.
it is.
Just a random thing. The talent buyer for that room, JJ's, lives here in Jacksonville.
Wait,
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of become a friend of ours, and he's been out to the festivals. I'm sure he's seen you at somewhere in
That's
Jacksonville.
hilarious.
So I just
Okay.
had to put those two and two together. But
Small world.
Cool,
he's
yeah.
also been,
That'll be
like-
our first time there in Arkansas, so very
he
intrigued.
says it's pretty sweet, and I've seen videos from the room. I'm just baffled that, like, not baffled, that's probably the wrong word. It's just so cool to see that, like,
Yeah.
Bentonville, Arkansas, a place that
Yeah.
likely kind of like Jacksonville in a way, like people
Yeah.
don't think about, has
don't
like
know.
a music scene that seems to be thriving too. I know it's a
That's
college
sick.
town, but it's like,
Yeah. I
College
love
towns
being
are great
surprised
for
by those.
music.
Yeah. Being like surprised by, but like the first time we went to Iowa, we had no idea that anything was in. Was it Iowa? Yeah.
Are you talking about Iowa or are you talking about?
No.
Jackson?
Idaho. Iowa was great
cool.
too.
Yeah,
Idaho, Boise, Idaho. We
Yeah.
were like, okay, it's like potatoes, and then like what else is? But then we got there, and it's like
Potatoes and a
the
blue
cool-
football
Like
field.
we go to Boise, and we're like, we're going to Boise.
I know, like we look
freak-
forward. I mean, we're not
Yeah.
playing there on this tour, but genuinely, that is one of our favorite
We
places
played
to
this
play.
little club called the Shredder in Boise.
Shredder.
The
And they had a
Shredder.
half pipe behind the venue.
That's
and
sick.
But that half
guys
pipe
skate the
was
ramp?
also
Well,
like
of
the green
course,
room.
we taught Mitch how to drop in for the first time. Yeah, there's a video of Mitch like learning
Was it like
how
a
to
mini
drop
ramp
in.
or was
It's like
it
a mini,
okay.
yeah.
It was like Mitch
It's
going
like a
in on like
9-footer.
on
No,
like
no,
the
no,
big
no,
ramp at Kona. Like,
Nah, man. Not Big Brown. No,
Yeah.
not like that. No. But yeah, that's a fun place.
well, you guys have just selfishly, you guys have played Red Rocks at this point and support. What is that experience like? Just from a like, I feel like it's the pinnacle for so many, and especially as music fans too. Like from Florida too, I know so many people that travel out there. It's just such a destination. Did it live up to the hype? Like in that, like,
It exceeded it, to
Luckily,
be honest.
I will say, luckily, we got to play 2 nights.
Oh, that's right.
Because Mountjoy had us for both nights. And I'm say luckily because the first night,
Blacked out.
yeah, basically like
You're like,
you
I
walk
don't-
out there and you look up and just like, you're just playing. You're like, and
It's
then
gone just like that.
it's
Like,
gone. Yeah,
over.
and then you're like, what just happened? And then this next night, you're like, you can take it in a lot more and be like, okay, this is you're more living in it. It's easier at least to live in the moment and like kind of just be like, okay, now we can like do our thing. But that first night we were like,
And the first night I was so under the weather.
Yeah.
Like, what did you give me? It was like a Claritin D or something.
What did you
No,
give
like
you?
it saved my life.
over the
dude.
counter
Oh,
medicine.
Yeah,
medicine.
No.
I thought you were saying I gave you the sickness.
No.
I was like, what do you mean?
No, you
No.
cured the
She
sickness.
gave me
What?
like a Claritin D or something.
was
I was
a
hyped
Leaf
up.
D.
I felt like I was like, all right, I can actually do this. Go.
They clear you up.
Dude,
It's
it
behind
did.
the
It
counter
cleared
for
me
a
up.
reason.
It's the altitude
the
that
best.
got you, isn't it?
Probably. Well, I'm very susceptible to altitude sickness. I don't know what it is, man.
Colorado,
Every
watch
time.
out.
It gets me.
It's no joke though.
Because
Like
you're going
ours,
so hard behind the drums, man. It's like you're losing.
It's also because we got the Florida lungs. We're used to sea
Yeah.
level.
Oh,
So-
I understand it. Believe me, that is a hard transition.
But yeah, what an incredible. I feel like I still haven't like fully reflected enough and comprehended the experience that we had. It's insane.
There's a specific. I remember I have like one image. I tried to like create like one image in my mind while on stage, but it was we would play and like the sun was kind of setting at the time.
Nice.
So the rocks, like there's, if nobody's seen it, but like from just listening to me, but like there's 2 huge I think they're called monoliths, but they're like 2 huge rocks, just like I don't know, like 20 stories tall, and they kind of encompass the crowd, and the crowd goes down. So when you look out, you're looking up. So it's like a waterfall of like people, and you're at the bottom, and you're kind of you're being impacted by all this energy moving to them.
Yeah.
I remember looking up and like seeing the sky like turning like a darker shade of blue, which is like really cool already in Colorado because of like how high it is up there. But and just seeing like the rock, and it's like I had to look all the way up. It's like it's difficult to explain, but it was like I just looked at it for like almost an entire song. I was like, this is the coolest place that I've ever been. Like hands down, it's
It's
the
just
coolest
such a
place.
vast amount of space. Like
Yeah.
I've seen shows there, and you feel like, I don't know, like you feel like you're close in a way, but you're just so far
Yeah.
too. At any given moment, you guys are like way down there.
way,
You know,
yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
what is it,
we're
like
tiny.
10,000 people in there? You're like, oh, this is.
It's like
You feel
just staring at
tiny
you.
when you're down
You
there.
crank your neck. Like you literally have to
Yeah,
like look
that's
up,
like a steep.
which is
And like
nuts.
for production too, like I always kind of wonder. I'm like, people have to probably design their shows pretty specific to Red
Yeah.
Rocks, right? Because it's like
The
such a
lights have to go
steep
up.
throw to like actually have it be the same visual effect. So, and like on that note too, like so you guys I know are traveling, with production a little bit more as something you did last time. Like, are you guys excited? And how do you guys work with your LD and your crew to incorporate that into like kind of the experience that the fans will get on tour? Like, what do you have a process, or do you work with them in that creative way, or what does that look like for you guys?
This is our first official tour with an LD. We've worked with people in the past that have like programmed a lighting package and then just sort of like sent us out
Yeah.
with it. So it's the same thing every night.
Cool that you guys can
Shout out.
do that too.
Shout out Emma. Emily. Anna. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's
Shout out
okay.
Anna. But yeah, that one we would take, and it's because we saw a band called we opened for a band called Wilderado. have
seen
some
them in
homies.
Colorado once.
They're
They're
amazing.
sweet.
They're awesome. But we kind of saw what they did on that run with like they would, bring lights, and we were like, we can do that. So we did that, but then we also didn't think about the fact we're setting these up every night and then tearing them down. So it was like an extra hour or two of like loading in and loading out. So we're like, oof. And it was freezing on
That
that tour.
truss is probably freezing.
Yeah.
Those
That
plates
or-
were like 70 pounds each.
Yeah, that is like
they were-
that's a usually a person or two's at
Exactly.
least work
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a day.
So now this tour we're about to go out on, we do have an LD for the first time that's going to be incorporating the house lights and like is going to know our set. We're going to go to Nashville for about 3 or 4 days before we tour to run through the set with him so that we can get everything tight, and just create this experience and this show for people. And it's still a work in progress, but I'm very excited to see where it.
And I feel like it does kind of, you probably go into it with a plan of like, all right, we're going into pre-production
Right.
rehearsals. Like we know what's going to happen,
Mhm.
but then I'm sure it's going to evolve over the course of the tour
Yeah.
as well, where you're like, oh, we have this,
This idea,
this
yeah.
idea, or like something. You're like, well, that's not hitting the same. Like let's change this cue. Or
And that's the cool part about being able to tour with somebody that's actually running the lights live is you can make changes like that on the fly, rather than being stuck to like, all right, this is how the show is programmed. It's the
Pre-programmed,
same
yeah.
every night. So
It'll be different every night, like because he's like almost like playing an instrument in a sense.
Yeah, it's another member at that point. I mean, I feel that way about like a lot of all crew, but like a front of house engineer when if they're playing with delays or they're playing with like just how the mix sounds
Yep,
at
Taylor
each
and
room.
stuff.
Like,
Yeah.
it's such a cool, I feel like a lot of folks don't realize that, like how much goes into it too.
They should turn around and thank the people that are in the middle of the room.
Yeah,
because they're-
genuinely,
they're
like
the reason why
once we started traveling with Taylor to run our front of house,
it's
we
got so much better.
sounded so much better.
Yeah.
it's like the fine tuning there.
Yes,
It's just
yeah.
is like you guys can do everything you can on stage, and then you still don't have control
Yeah.
about what everyone else hears at that point.
Yeah, for
and
real.
honestly, that they're crushing what they're doing if people don't even notice that they're back there.
Yeah.
That's like, which is what they do. Taylor makes it sound so good. We've seen Ethan's light shows before with a group called Shaky Graves, and like they're both so pro. So this is gonna be an awesome run.
Well, I am
very
stoked
excited.
to see it because we're going to be like the end of it too,
Yeah,
back here in
yeah,
Jacksonville.
yeah.
So it's going to just be like
Hopefully-
the ultimate,
gonna be-
like culmination of it all. So I got to see you guys at Playground Fest. What was that, about a month ago at this point?
I'd say
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, believe me. I'm like, where does time go?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
How is it, producing your own festival and hosting it? Like, has that been something that you guys have wanted to do for a while? I know was this year 2?
Technically, yeah. This
Year
is
two,
year
so
2.
how is it hosting it, and what are your plans, I guess, for that as you move forward? Is there grander plans of like moving the festival to other markets? Like, what does that look like?
We have a lot of ideas. Luckily, Sam and Caleb, our managers, are just incredible. And this year, like last year or first year even went great, but this year was like even more great. And like I think like this time we implemented more like artists and stuff. And I think just seeing it grow bit by bit has been awesome. I know it's been a great way to connect again with Gainesville, because now that we, don't go to school there anymore, don't live there anymore, it's kind of like that separation, but that's always feels like a great homecoming every time. And just like feels like no time has passed like every time we come back.
Totally. I feel like it's peeled away the curtain to the Florida's weather and like how festivals operate in Florida. Because the first year was in August and it was like scorching hot.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah,
that's why we put it.
That's why we put it in
brutal.
January. Then it was freezing.
Yeah. I was gonna say I was pretty cold. I was out there, forgot a beanie, and I was like, that
it
was
might
a
have been the coolest
mistake.
show we've ever played.
It genuinely was,
in
yeah.
Florida, like that doesn't make any sense.
But it's better than it being scorching hot.
Yeah,
So
so
I
we
will
can
say
attest to
that.
that because the heat wave in Tennessee playing outside when the sun is beaming is much worse than the cold, I would say.
So the intent with Playground was really to reconnect with Gainesville, because I've always kind of been curious. I'm like, okay, why Gainesville? Because again, that's an interesting market
Gainesville-
within itself. But I know you guys have personal history with school and everything else there.
It was, before we even played a like venue show in Jacksonville. Gainesville was the first place we played a, you know, like an actually official show. So it's always been between Gainesville and Jacksonville as far as like that kind of like hometown feel, you know.
They're kind of like cousins.
They're like,
you know?
you know,
Yeah.
it's all, you know, North Florida. But yeah, because a few of us went to UF, and then Tristan moved to Gainesville.
I didn't go to UF.
Oh, so
No,
you got,
but-
me neither. I used to go down there to see my brother. That was about it. But
Yeah, we just kind of for a little while made that like our home base, and the community in Gainesville and like a lot of our friends like in college just were super supportive of everything that we were doing. A lot of UF students, the same way that we'll hear like Duval out, you know, at like a show, go Gators. Like we'll hear that, you know, like everywhere. It's so Gainesville's like a very, very important place, and we wanted to, you know, if we're gonna go back there, you know, try to also give back, I guess, you know, a little bit to the community and try to bring up the music scene that's there as well.
And it was cool to see that like that is happening. Like I being there, like I just remember just playing shows and being involved in music there probably in the 2010 to 2014 kind of, it was tough. It's a tough market, but like when I showed up at the festival, I was like, holy cow, there's a lot of people here. Like the music scene is there, and you know, spent a lot of time in Gainesville over the last like 6 months, and it was like I really enjoyed living there. It was a really cool place. So it's cool to see that, and interacting with so many of the fans, just talking to them out in the crowd and just getting to like know kind of the people in Gainesville that are supporting music. You have so many passionate fans in the market too. And something I found interesting was I was talking to a guy around one of the fire pits, and he's like, oh, you know, he's like, I get this shirt signed by you guys like at every show.
Oh, yeah, I know,
yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, dude, how many signatures do you have?
Yeah,
So
got so many.
that leads to my next question of like, what is the wildest thing that a fan has like either made for you, or, you know, like I feel like
we gotta say the shoes. The shoes are so
Oh,
like
yeah. In a great way.
In a
It-
great
No, yeah,
way.
like,
yeah.
Personalized shoes that she painted. You would actually be able to explain this
Yeah,
more because
Lena, she was actually one of the artists vendors that we brought out for Playground Fest. I don't know if you
sick,
saw it, but she was kind of like, I guess she's seen us a bunch. I think she went to UF and everything, and she painted me like one day. She like DM'd me and was like, "Hey, like I'd love to paint you a pair of shoes and whatever. Like, what type of things do you like?" And I told her, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And then I saw her. She came to our show in Tallahassee, I think, and she brought them. I was like, "Oh my god, they're like literal pieces of art." And she's like, "You can wear them." I'm like,
Never.
"This is gonna be on a like
They
I
need to be on a
can't wear
shelf.
these. Like they're too pretty." But she like Scotch guards them and everything, so can. So she's awesome, and yeah, we had her out at Playground, and so
I think she kind of back like
kind of near
between the
second
two
sta-
stages,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And
Yeah,
she,
those things are sick.
yeah, they're really cool. So her idea was she painted half of them for each of us, and then the other half she had people at the festival like draw like whatever, and she had little things like, oh, each member likes these things, so if you want to draw that, whatever. It's just super thoughtful, like
Very
extremely
thoughtful. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Awesome.
blew my mind, honestly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Any type of art people make, I'm like, you took time out of your day to
Yeah.
do this. Sky too.
Yeah, Sky.
Like she draws these. Yeah.
That's just
Crazy. Yes.
Yeah, it's a chicken. It's a. We can go. an
Wait.
hour into this
Okay, so
whole-
the chicken. What is the deal
Oh,
with
so
the
you
chicken?
know about the chicken?
The
like,
office
roughly
had
kind of-
said we have to ask about the chicken. So
we gotta bring it back. we gotta bring it
let me know. We gotta bring it to the people. What is the chicken about?
He's alive. He's
I
alive.
am bringing it back.
Yeah.
To mark my words here today.
He's gonna wake up again.
Dude, yeah. Just like wait, yeah.
Right, we said his name. It's a rubber chicken that we got. He's so pissed. That we got, I think, 3 years ago.
He's super significant. Like that was the tour that I was talking about. We went out and like played in Colorado, and
Yeah,
like
Colorado. Yeah.
it was our first tour really, like as a group, and Well, yeah, it was just very sentimental because it was at the very beginning of that tour.
It
and
wasn't sentimental.
It
at
is
all.
sentimental. That chicken is sentimental.
No, we.
We
trauma-bonded.
definitely
Did you guys have some rough
Like
nights with that
chicken-
chicken?
You seen Band
Yes.
of Brothers?
Yeah.
That chicken has been through it with us. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that
Like,
chicken. No, it's like he's so worn out. Like,
Maybe he's just got to do some office work,
yeah,
stay
he's gotta
back.
get.
Maybe he can stay in Sam and Caleb's office
Yeah.
or something.
He's been
We
beaten up
were so intense about that chicken. We literally performed surgery on him at one
multiple
point.
times. I've done
Multiple, yeah.
3 throat replacements on this.
Does it still
chicken.
squeak?
This is
Yes,
yes,
it
these-
does.
because we
Because
do
of that.
surgery on the chicken.
People
This
will-
chicken is not alive.
No.
This is not
Yeah,
a real
this is
chicken.
not-
yeah.
We did
No,
not
this is not
harm
a
any
real
animals
chicken.
in the making
Yeah.
of this.
but people will like bring chickens and throw them on stage
Yeah,
like
not
they're
flowers.
roses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
So-
like people like so many
Like-
times will just on social media like tag us in something weird with a rubber chicken, or just send us videos that like if any video is like viral with a rubber chicken, they're like, let's send us a Flipturn. Like,
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
saying I'm gonna stock your green room here full of rubber chickens?
That-
Oh
you-
yes,
Yeah,
they'll all be
dude.
on stage.
Trevor,
too.
take note.
Yeah, we.
Add it to our Amazon
He has
list.
an Instagram too.
He does have an
His
Instagram.
Instagram with like over a thousand.
He has
followers.
over 1,000 followers. His engagement
Organic.
rate is out of the
It's
out of the
insane.
Out of this
parts.
chicken.
Like at one point he had like a 50 to 60% engagement rate, which was like insane.
I think the average is like 2%.
Yeah, no, it was
That's a serious
insane.
chicken.
Just look
Yeah,
at his
he's been
Instagram and you'll
dormant.
understand.
we'll
It's
say he's-
jalapeno the tour chicken.
Tour chicken is getting revived. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
possibly. I think he'll come
We
back.
almost made it a whole interview.
You know, he
without
was
mentioning
he's
I'm sorry, I had to.
No, it's-
he's still been on every tour. He
Yeah.
just hasn't been.
Yeah.
He's always there.
So when you're on the road with the chicken, I have to imagine you've stopped at a Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
What is your favorite item to buy in a Buc-ee's?
Ooh.
Buck
We
nuts.
call,
Is that
we
what
call
they're
those
called?
things not the right name. That's not the name of them.
Some slang term.
Yeah. What are they actually? What are they actually called?
Just describe them without using the name, and we'll see if we can figure this out.
They're like, are they like caramel? Like almost no. What they're like little, like almost. They're kind of like Cracker Jacks, right? Like,
Yeah, it's like they're like corn puffs. And
Yeah,
they're, like,
or, like-
glazed with. It's kind of like a caramel thing. They're called beaver nuggets, but we
Yeah.
call them buck nuts.
Call them buck nuts.
I mean, that's a pretty good
I think.
name.
I
They
think
should honestly
they
rebrand.
should
Like-
rebrand.
We should
Better
send this to
name.
Buc-ee's because
Yeah.
Bucknuts
Yeah.
sounds pretty catchy to
and it's
me.
fun to say. Buck nuts, you know? Like,
Man, that was Bucknuts. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
We went to a
multi-purpose.
Buc-ee's before they came to Florida, like on that one of our
that
first times touring through
bigger
Texas.
in
and we
Texas
like,
kinda thing?
yeah, we drove up to it, and that was one of the times we're like, "What is that? A Walmart?" You know, and we're like,
Would you go out of your way to stop at a Buc-ee's on tour?
"Yeah,
Oh,
we have, yeah, that's
We see it, we're
already done
like,
it."
"Droop."
Yeah,
You're here first, Buc-ee's. Give them free gas on
Yeah,
tour.
yeah.
Yeah,
well,
for real.
nice restrooms. Like the food is solid. I mean, anything that you would want on a, like a
Yeah, like a
late
roadside
night.
stop.
Yeah.
So on
Yeah.
that same note, what is the gnarliest place like that you've had to stop and take like a shower or kind of like get cleaned up for a show? Like,
There's been some places for sure that we thought maybe we would
There's-
not make it out.
There's a gas station we stopped at that it had to be quick because there was a literal dumpster fire.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that was like on this most recent run.
Yeah.
The dumpster outside was on fire.
No, it was right next to the
Like-
gas, and we're like, well, we need gas.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're in
let's
the
make it
middle of
quick.
nowhere.
filling up, and then definitely in the background it's getting bigger, like, and we're just like,
Yeah, we're like, we gotta get out of here in the next 45 seconds.
yeah.
countdown is on.
Yeah.
That one's sketch, but there's also just been some like 4 a.m. pull in, like delirious.
Anywhere where the bathroom is not in the gas station is never
Like you
fun.
need a separate key. You're
Yeah.
like, it's around back. Here's
Yeah, and
here's the key with
Here's
the
with the
paddle
big
on
thing.
it.
I'm like, I am touching everyone else's hand right now, and that's all I think about every time. I'm like, I have to do that, so it's not fun. I don't like those.
Hotels too.
I was gonna say,
There's
there's
been
probably
like,
some gnarly
there's been like
hotels
2
out there.
hotels we've gotten to where there was no power.
Yeah, no, it's the same one.
you
it's
paid
it's
for
the
it?
same one. We have stopped at the same hotel.
You guys
And
got sucked in twice?
It's in Arizona.
the only
The
one
second
in
time the power
Arizona.
wasn't out, but I booked it because I was like, this is the hotel we stayed at, so I'm gonna stay at it again.
Pulling up to that, being like,
The first time we stayed there, I was driving. It was like I think it was 3:30 in the morning.
The drive
I
was really cool,
I was
'cause
the only one. Like you were awake.
Yeah.
And then,
The lightning was really crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Out in the desert a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it
it
was
was
desert.
straight desert.
it was like this awesome like heat lightning, and we're like, whoa, we're listening to cool music, and we're
Yeah.
like, this is amazing.
Yeah, and like it was just like every time the lightning flashed, you would see the Arizona mountains.
Yeah, that
And
was
it'd just
cool.
be, but and then we would. It was also a full moon, so it was kind of bright because of the
Kinda
moon.
creepy,
That's
too.
the
It
was
only
creepy, yeah.
light source was the full moon, which happens.
No
a lot
headlights
tour.
on.
No.
Oh yeah,
Right.
disobeying law. But no, headlights were on, thankfully. But then when we got to the hotel, we were like, dang, it's so dark. Even the hotel's dark. And then we were like, oh, it's really dark. We're like, there's no lights in here. And then we walked in, and they're like, yeah, power.
Did you guys get the room for free?
No.
No.
Man.
We tried, and they're
Yeah.
like, sorry, whatever. We're like, whatever.
They know they're the only hotel.
Yeah.
They're like, we just don't need power
Yeah,
anymore.
it's like,
We're-
we don't.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, try to get to the next one type deal.
Yeah.
We were able to get in the room though, which was great.
Yeah. It was- I did the shower work. Or
No, it was
anything?
so cold, dude. It was
Yeah,
so
it was
cold.
freezing. I used
That was
my
a cold
iPhone
shower.
flashlight to like
Yeah.
light up the room.
Yeah.
that sounds pretty bad. Oh,
Yeah.
that will take the cake on
That was
that.
pretty. Yeah, I mean, I think there's been some worse like like ones that just were like smelled straight like cigarettes.
Oh, I hate those. I hate those.
We walked into a room, it was late, and I mean, you know, we're in venues that smell like cigarettes, but this was like, oh my god, like it's seeped into the carpet and then the walls. Like if
Like
we
someone had
sleep
lived in
this,
there for like 30
yeah,
years, chain
like if
smoking.
we sleep in this room, we're gonna smell like cigarettes. So we did. So Mitch
You
and I
probably
went.
took like 2 years off your life that
Probably,
night.
man. I'll never get those 2 years back. But we went to the lobby, and we told them, we're like, we wanted to like switch rooms. Like, oh well, you know, the hotel's full, so like they gave us one of those cans that like I guess, yeah, it's the stench remover.
So many warnings on it.
Yeah, no, it's like
you
leave
should
the
not
room for
inhale
30
this,
minutes
yeah.
after spraying this. So
Like, don't light a match within 50 feet.
Osium and all the like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're like, all right. It's like,
Man,
Yeah.
then it probably just smelled like that,
yeah, it was not.
which
it
is
was-
that with a
was-
hint of cigarette.
Those
Gross.
are rough nights. It sounds.
Yeah,
but
there was some.
you guys are gonna have some glamorous nights now.
Well,
Let's look forward. You
We've
know.
had some
You know?
nicer ones. We've had the nicer.
So you gotta take the good with the bad.
Exactly.
and-
Yeah,
And that is
exactly.
why I appreciate the like when we do get a nice place now. Like I appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, to experience happiness, you must experience sadness. So,
the great philosopher.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you guys are on the road, not to pit anyone against each other, who would be most likely to forget their instrument at the previous
Devin.
venue? That was quick. That was a snap reaction.
Not accurate, but all right.
Well, we heard it here
He
first.
drove to Virginia.
Well,
in the,
okay, yeah, but okay, it's only. But if
Sorry to
anything,
throw you under the
if
bus.
anything, it's probably because he. I mean, you guys have like the most likely to leave something.
That is a
behind. You
copious
guys have
amount.
the
As a
most
drummer,
stuff,
I will
but-
side with you that is a copious amount of gear that you have to
insane
load.
That's a lot
amount
of
of
gear.
gear, yeah.
But I will argue. I'll stand my ground and say that's why I'm the most particular about it. I'm like, it's all of my stuff in one place. Like, okay, like we
That's
can.
fair.
You left your cymbals. Remember that? I remember that. I remember when you left your cymbals. I remember this. Do you not remember this? The first tour we did with him, we lost your cymbal or your cymbal box or something with cymbals.
That's a valuable
disappeared.
case.
I really.
I
I
promise.
can't. I literally
I
don't
will.
remember.
I'm
this.
trying. I'm trying to remember where it was. I feel like it was Los Angeles,
You-
and you lost a cymbal.
I lost
A
my
symbol.
sunglasses at South by, but
Those
I can't.
almost start with the same letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I
think that was a
promise.
thing. I didn't do a show without a cymbal or anything. There's no way.
There's so much.
I've forgotten an instrument before.
You have?
Yes, I have. So we were doing this like show in Burlington, Vermont. Like I think it was like 2019 or so. But we went to our Airbnb and I got a guitar out to change the strings. And I did it inside, and then we went to the venue, and then I left my guitar at the Airbnb. Remember that? I had
At
to play
least
the
it was
backup.
like in the same town, right?
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
But that's gotta not be a good feeling.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I have to use this guitar now. Okay.
I don't want to like jinx us, but
Yeah,
we
let's
are
knock on wood, knock on
actually
wood.
we've toured with some bands we love and like good friends with. We're not the worst at that. Like there's some people that we have like we've been the ones
Yeah, you're
that
like,
are like
guys, we
yo,
have it in our trailer.
Yeah, like we got your there's been like, and I love all the bands we've toured with, but
We've collected some drum thrones.
Yeah, like
Do you still have any of
like
it in
two.
your trailer or
I think we have a drum throne from somebody.
Hey,
yeah,
somebody
that's, like,
claim your drum throne
Still,
in the
and we
next
were like, oh
year.
yeah, we'll get it to you, and they're like, okay, yeah. So, yeah.
Salt Lake City.
What about Salt Lake City?
it all comes
What
back
about
around.
Salt Lake City?
What is that place? Kilby Court.
Kilby Court.
Your
Kilby Court.
symbol went missing.
No. We did leave something in Kilby Court.
That venue is like the size of this
awesome.
It
train
is.
car.
No, that's like playing
Like,
house show. Yeah,
I lived in
great-
Salt
I
Lake
love
City
it.
for a short period of time. It is a sick venue, and they
Sick
do that
venue,
sick
iconic
festival.
venue, yeah.
Yeah,
Just Kilby
Kilby
Court,
block
yeah, Kilby
parties.
Court.
Are you sure it wasn't a stand?
No, it was a symbol.
There's
I
no
promise.
way.
Did
I
you
only
get the
have a
symbol
couple.
back?
No, he didn't.
All right, so question for you, Devin, on this note.
This is completely. If this is true, which it totally
You guys
could
remember
be,
this?
this has
whole thing?
completely slipped my mind.
So we
I
need to go
don't ever
back to
remember
Kilby
losing a symbol
Court. We need to go
ever.
find your symbol. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go today, guys.
I remember it. Yeah.
So you play? Do you play acrylic shells now, or
I do now.
So
yeah.
do they withstand a beating better than a traditional wood shell? Because I mean, you go pretty hard behind the kit, and I've seen you take a number off on those. So do they withstand all the beatings that you give?
I will say they haven't been put through the ringer as much as my Rogers.
Are you going to test that on this tour?
We'll see. I've watched stagehands drop my tom down a set of stairs, and I don't know if I'd want to put an acrylic kit through the same sort of
Sure,
like
sure.
beating.
Would that be a
But-
drum roll?
That's really good. Oh, that just
That's
happened.
actually that was really good.
That was good.
That was really good.
But I mean, yeah, that kit, I will say, they're still sturdy. They maintain their tuning, and like I have no problem hitting them as hard as I want, and they hold up, man.
You heard it here. He's gonna kick it over at least
Might be throwing a drum kit
7
over.
times on the tour.
You break
Franklin
cymbals
drum
though.
I fly
You-
through cymbals.
I was gonna say
for
you
sure.
play hard, so like cracking a cymbal isn't unusual, but
There's
I'm,
been yeah.
I'm sure that's a rate that's higher than average. For
There's
you.
been multiple times where I think we're about to go into the next song and we don't, and I turn around and Dev's like literally his snare is like falling apart or something like that.
He's
and
like, oh.
yeah, it's like bouncing or something, and we're just like, okay.
Kick drum pedal or something.
I've got a speed round of questions for this next
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Waffle House or IHOP?
Oh, Waffle House.
Waffle House.
Oh,
or-
Waffle House. Yeah.
Waffle House.
Waffle House.
Waffle Home.
Man, we got the full. We got the full suite here.
And that's on Dev. Dev is the one that like at first. I remember when we first started touring, I was like, no way, I'm not going to Waffle House, and now I love Waffle
I
House.
love
like
Waffle
I
House.
What is your go-to like item? Like, oh, okay, first, how many days a week will you frequent a Waffle House on tour? And what is your favorite item on the menu?
It really depends.
We do when we can for like a nice treat.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're like,
Sometimes we did it like once a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There was one tour that definitely was the Waffle House tour.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Like we had a Taco Bell tour, we had a Waffle House tour. Like
sandwiches. We ate a lot
we
of
don't-
sandwiches at one point.
yeah,
too.
we don't really repeat. Like I feel like each tour has its own thing. But there
Yeah.
was one where we were hitting a Waffle House
Yeah.
once or twice a week. I swear.
You guys got me really good in Texas one time.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, we did. We pranked them. We'll answer your question, but so we were after a show. We're all like sweaty, and I knew like we were gonna go to the hotel. We're gonna get dinner, and I was like, so we're gonna go to this place called like Just Salad, and everyone's like, okay. Like I told them all we're like gonna prank Devin, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, do they have like meat? Like I'm like, yeah, they got like a chicken wrap, and
I felt so defeated. Dude, I think it was after we did like a stretch of, maybe we did like 5 shows in a row. And
I
I
think
was
so.
like, tonight's the night. We're going to get Waffle House. And then they were like, feast. Yeah, and I was like, we're going to go to this place called Just Salad. And I was like, are you kidding me? So I felt so defeated. The entire drive, I'm like, this sucks. This sucks so bad. And then we pull up to a Waffle House. I was like, no way.
and you're like, guys, but what? And we're like,
No way.
Yeah.
But that was very sweet.
So you're
but
going back to Waffle House.
yeah,
on this
for
tour.
sure.
Absolutely.
I'm not normally a chocolate milk person. Just I don't really like drink it all the time. But I love Waffle House chocolate milk.
I wonder
'Cause you
what
get
makes
it.
it special. Is it like
I don't know.
is
It's
it milk and like chocolate syrup? I wonder, or you think it's like a
I don't know.
I think it's the love.
I think it's the love. It's
I
the
think it
love
is
of a
True
Waffle
Moon
House.
though.
Yeah.
But it's great. I like their biscuits a lot too.
Yeah, hash browns with jalapenos.
Now we're just gonna make ourselves hungry.
Oh
Yeah.
sausage, egg and cheese, hash brown bowl.
Like we'll
Should
get
Should we
back.
go to Waffle House?
No, I'm serious. We'll get back from like when we end a tour. Usually, what we like to do, or what is we all so badly want to sleep in our own bed that we like. If it doesn't matter if we're in DC, we'll drive through the night, get to just to get home. And I remember there was one time we did that. We got back, we're in our driveway, we're like finally home.
It's like 5 in the
And
morning.
like we finish, it's like 5 a.m. and we finish unloading and Dev's like, yo, I'm going to Waffle House. Like,
And he
No
went.
sleep for me.
yeah, he's like, one more Waffle House.
I pulled up to Waffle House at like 6 a.m. I was like, I need this.
This is gonna make me sleep that much
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Well, I have one more question for you guys. It's going back to just like the progression of Flipturn. You guys talk about this new kind of show, the new area you're going into. Something I always like to ask, and just as like the event producer in me, is there like a destination or a place outside the US or anywhere that you're like, I would want to do a show there or put a festival on there? Because I always like to hear people's like dream about that, of like, is it an island in the
Yes.
Caribbean? What does it look like for you guys?
Oh, well, that's pretty cool. You know what? Costa Rica, they're like, we have some of Atlas has been like almost like setting up.
Yeah, like Matt's like living
Matt
down
and
there.
Luke are like
they love
living
it.
there, and Sam was just there for like 2 weeks, and they always tell us how like beautiful and like how cool it is down there. Maybe one day we do something in Costa Rica.
It's
Yeah,
a good place.
Yeah.
we're starting to get
I thought you were gonna say Australia. I was so
Well,
excited.
no, but that's what I was about to say. Is like,
Yeah.
the only reason I thought of that is because you said some like like tropical place, but like Australia has been somewhere that I've always wanted to play a show. I think our music, while I know our music does pretty well over there, and also like a lot of our favorite bands.
Australian.
Australians are so good at music.
New Zealand, like
fucking
they
insane
produce
bands.
so much cool music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Oh, cool,
Tame
yeah.
Impala.
Yeah, I was gonna
Gizzard,
say.
yeah,
Gizzard,
Jungle Giants is from Australia.
the what is that song? The Walking on a
wait.
Dream.
Oh, Empire of the Sun.
Empire of the
yeah.
Sun.
Parcels too, like
Parcels? Are they
Yeah, they're
Australian?
Australian.
Yeah.
Wow. See?
Leisure.
Yes,
Yeah,
oh my God.
there's a new one
Parcels
called
is-
Glass Beams. Have you guys heard
Yes,
of that?
they're
Yeah,
sick.
super cool.
Is Royal Otis Australian?
No, well,
I don't know. It
I don't
sounds
know.
Australian.
I don't think they're
doesn't it?
Australian. I think they're UK.
Yeah, they might
We'll
be.
see. I'll look
Yeah.
it up later.
But yeah, Australian bands are
Yeah,
They're the bee's
they
knees right
they
now.
paved the
Yeah.
way.
they do. They've always been super inspiring. So I think
Australia.
sure.
All right.
Yeah,
Australia
let's
would-
do it.
Heard it here first. It's gonna it'll happen. I feel it. Well, thank you guys for joining us here. Flipturn, April 26th, 2024 at the Railway, River City
yeah.
Railway. There we go. It's gonna be
River
sick.
City Railway.
It's gonna be sick.
Wait, it's 27. It is 27.
27?
April 27.
Take it back.
April 27th.
Here we go.
Yes, I
Here we
was
go,
thinking
here
about
we
that
go.
too.
I'm like,
yeah.
what? I was trying to see the dates in my head.
Yeah, it is April 27th. Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Trevor.
April 27th.
April 27th, 2024.
we're
All
gonna
right,
do
we're going to
that.
start that from the top.
Right.
We're going to have to start this all over. But yeah, thank you, Flipturn, for joining us.
Yeah,
We'll
thanks
be
for having
here at April 27th, Saturday, April 27th.
Yes.
It's going to be an epic show. It's really stoked. Best of luck on tour. Safe travels. I know it's going to be quite a great journey for you guys, and stoked to host you when you get back.
Sweet.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
stoked to
It's
be
been fun.
back.
Thank you.
Go Jags.
Go Jags, blue ball.